Hello class, I'm going to be going over the Roaring 20s, the 1920s. This is my history lesson on social science. I'm going over it in a 4 to 5 minute screencast video. I'm just scrolling down really fast to get to the directions. I apologize. Okay, so describing elements of my lesson plan and share examples of my expectations from your students and audience. Here I have a couple factors that I introduced to the class. I have a song of the day as a warm-up and exercise because students might come into the class very excited or rushed, or just it's a way to get students to sit down. Music's in the classroom. They might be a little talkative, so it might be able to way for students to avoid talking over the music. I have student-friendly objectives. These are what I expect from the students. Historical thinking skills. These are skills that I will develop with the students throughout the progression of my lecture. I have here a warm-up for 2 students to interact with each other, which is neighbor-to-neighbor activities. I've included a YouTube video. I have lecture notes. This is going to be personally for me as I lecture my students. This is going to be a very small part of the lecture, just going over the individual slides. So for social science, it's really important to go over the economic, political, and cultural, which is for the reason these extensive slides were very much info-packed. It's really important to talk about these in our modern culture. We tend to use this thing called SPICE, which talks about social, political, I forgot what the I was for, and then the C and economical, but those are usually the common practices. Oh, the C is cultural, I apologize. And I believe I is innovative. Anyways, moving on. We also have a Kahoot, and so you would click this link to get into the Kahoot. However, I already have a window here. I'm just going to make it a bit bigger. And the Kahoot will open this Roaring 20s Kahoot. And if we start, we can actually navigate through the entire Kahoot. Cool. Classic mode. Loading the game pin. Cool. That's usually the way to start the game. Cool. So now we'll leave the site and we'll go over the questions. We have question 1, question 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All of these questions touch on digital citizenship, vocabulary, the comprehension of the class. They also talk about the previous lesson of the week. They talk about politics, talk about California, which is a good cultural aspect for students in California, Los Angeles, which is where I plan to teach. Describe how my plan will help learners build critical thinking skills. So I like to refer back to the beginning of my PowerPoint presentation, which can be found up here. Apologize for that, I had to sneeze, so I muted the microphone. So the way I'll be going about teaching critical thinking skills is going to be through the methods of comparison and periodization. So with comparison, I'm going to be comparing and contrasting Hollywood, California to different areas of the US, most specifically New York. You can notice that in the Kahoot. You'll notice that in this brief YouTube video. You'll notice that actually during this warm-up discussion duel. And for periodization, we will be comparing the 1920s to other areas of time. You will notice this when we look at the lecture notes. You will also notice this when we do this activity where students teach other students. I will present them with sources from time periods before the 1920s so that they can help periodize or provide situation to the context of the time period. The way that I can help build digital citizenship will be through the Kahoot assessment. I also plan on teaching digital citizenship throughout the class and through every lesson, but digital citizenship will probably only need to be gone over in the beginning. I may fix the first couple of slides so that there's a couple more digital citizenship slides. And yeah, I believe that is the end of my lesson plan. For future reference as well though, I have other sources. I have a note-taking sheet for the sources. I have a worksheet scaffold. So these are resources if the internet or technological route is not useful for the teacher, or if the teacher cannot navigate. I also have an activity to do right here, which involves 2 students and up to 4 students actually interacting with each other. You can actually do this entire activity with Chromebooks, but you can also do this activity in person. Thank you.